I have been wanting to talk a little bit more about what I'm going through. But I think because I already think it's complicated to talk about in Danish, it's a little overwhelming to start talking about in English, and I'm afraid I'm gonna use the wrong terms or something like that. And I'm also afraid of being judged. Normally, that's mostly because I'm judging myself. And I guess that, well, sometimes when I have a day or some hours without symptoms, or where they are affecting me less, I can feel like the bad days are just something I make up in my mind. But I know it isn't. But yeah, I'm gonna try to tell a little bit more. I think I'm also, well, a little bit scared of talking about it because I've had a very negative narrative about it, and I'm trying to change it, but talking about it without telling the negative sides isn't really gonna help either, I think. But I got really stressed back in 2019, and I got so sick, so I had to I do say call in sick, but it was like, I studied at a university, and I had to take a break to get better. But in the process of that break, I decided to drop out because I didn't see that it would get better for me to be there. There was a lot of stress factors at the school, and well, then I'm sorry, there was birds out there. I get easily distracted, bear with me. But I totally lost my train of thoughts. I'm sorry. I dropped out, and in the first half year, after the stress became too much, I was on a program called AMSI, Aldrig mere stress igen. Never stress again, I don't know. Well, it was so that you'd get out of the stress, and it was a really good program, and I learned a lot to help myself. I started meditating and relaxing a lot more. I had a nervous system that was thinking everything was dangerous, but it didn't really, well, it did get better, but not really enough for me to be able to keep a job or study. I have been really tired to the point where I am a lot of days as tired when I wake up as when I go to bed. And I had a very long period of time where I woke up, got my breakfast, and then went to bed again. And my walks have been things I wouldn't have called walks before. I thought last year in 2023 that I was getting better, and I tried to do some more normal stuff, and it didn't work out very well. In October, I was out of breath just standing, trying to put things in the cupboard. And emptying the dishwasher was like an overwhelming task. It still is, but it's something I can do. Sometimes it takes a day or two or three, but I can do it. On good days I can do it in a day. But yeah, I think I've blamed myself a lot, because with the stress, if I felt like if I just did everything that I was told I could do to make it better, it would get better, but it didn't really. And I have been depressed because of all this exhaustion, because I haven't been able to see my friends, see my family. I have longer periods of time where I can't get outside, and also just talking to people have made me so tired. And well, I'm trying to remember the year, because the last day I had where my head was like lighter, because it's heavy with all of the exhaustion. And the last time my head was free, and I was having conversations with my family where I was like, wow, I get why people want to meet other people or be in larger groups and just talk, because it was flowing and it was nice, it was fun. It was like this fog has lifted, and it was on Christmas Eve in 2021. And that is a little bit depressing to say that that's the last time I had that feeling. It lasted for about 2 hours. I've had little glimpses of it in the last couple of months, which gives me hope, but it's also a little bit depressing thinking about. And back to October last year, where I couldn't really walk. I worked my way up to being able to walk about a half to 1 kilometer a day, not in one go, but over the day. In the beginning, it was just getting out of the door. Then it was getting out of the door and going to the mailbox and back. And that was like my walk of the day. And yeah, I think it was back in 2021 that I got medication for depression, which made it a lot worse. I started shaking, and I have some dizziness already, but it got really bad, and I had 3 weeks where I had a hard time even standing up because I would get so dizzy when I did. And afterwards I was scared of driving because I would be scared that the dizziness would come back. And I have gotten a lot more anxiety because of those periods or episodes, and also just being scared of getting somewhere and then not having the energy to get back. And I think that's, well, it all combined. It's just feeling like my body is kind of scared to be alive, and my mind is trying to protect me, but sometimes it just stops me from doing anything. Yeah. And yeah, then there's also all of people's well-meaning comments and trying to help them. Maybe it's just this, or maybe if you did this, or maybe if you did that. I got that for a long time before I got a diagnosis. And it also kind of made me not want to talk to people because I didn't feel like they understood, or like I could just be myself without being told that I just needed to do this or that. And most of the time what they suggested was stuff I had been trying for years, and it didn't help. And yeah, I hope that it makes sense, because I feel like my mind is going in a lot of directions, so I'm just gonna try to tell you as it pops up in my mind, and I hope that if you listen to all of the video or the whole video, it will make sense. Yeah, but no promises. Then with the medication for depression, I tried 2 different kinds, but I just felt awful. Even worse, from being exhausted to almost not being able to be awake. It wasn't for me. And I tried to go to my doctor for a long time, and well, I think I have a knack of getting the things, the disorders or diseases that aren't looked at, aren't looked after. I also have celiac disease, and means that I'm gluten intolerant, and yeah, I had stomach issues when I was little, and also tried to find out what that was, but at some point we gave up, and the last doctor we went to told me just to lay down on the ground and stretch, and it would it would go away. It didn't. And when I found out at the age of 13, my stomach was so damaged that I couldn't I couldn't get any nutrients from my food. Normally is it the intestines? I'm sorry the words aren't there, but normally it's like this kind of surface, and the food, I need two hands and I only have one. But imagine this is the surface, and it goes up and down through your belly, and mine looked like this, so it just went through and nothing was, I didn't get any of the nutrients from the food. And actually it was discovered because I was going through some tests for why I wasn't so tall. My parents aren't that tall, but I wasn't. I was even smaller. And yeah, they found that out. And I think, the reason I'm telling that is that I think I've through my childhood gotten really good at suppressing what I felt, because I was told it wasn't true. So I thought I couldn't trust myself, my body, the signals I was given by it. And that is probably also what happened with the stress. I was just suppressing, not feeling. And then in December 2023, I got the diagnosis. And when I'm searching for it in English, it comes up with different names, both functional disorder, functional somatic disorder, functional somatic something with S. That word is lost. Functional somatic. Yeah, but something. In Danish, it's functional lidelse. Don't know if that helps. But it's a lot of complex symptoms that does result in you not being able to have a normal life. I don't know. I like this description where it's like 3 rings, and should have looked up some words before this. I didn't. I'm sorry. But in the inner circle, there is your comfort zone. And in the next circle, there is your development zone, where you develop, or growth zone. And in the outer ring, there is where you do too much and burn out, basically. Yeah. And when you have this disorder that I have, then you have your comfort zone, and your growth zone is like this little line that you have to tiptoe or balance on, so that you don't get stuck and that you don't burn out. And it's a lot of falling in the inner and outer zone. And when you are undiagnosed, it can lead to you at some point getting so scared of the burnout that you just stay in the comfort zone, because it can be hard to find a pattern, because the doctors even find it hard to find a pattern. But I got it diagnosed and I got in treatment, which isn't really treatment. It is called but it's about how to handle your symptoms, not really getting rid of them, even though some of them are getting less intense when you work with it. And it was I'm getting all the words in Danish today, so I'm just trying to make sense of it in my mind and getting it out of my mouth. But it's this wrap. The other. It's this totally it was I'm gonna call it a course. It isn't a course, but I think you get the point. I hope you get the point. But it's combined of doctors, physiotherapists, and psychologists, and not social workers, but some who has some knowledge about social work, because it affects me physically, mentally, and socially. Yeah, and the process has been like when you have a staircase and you need to take one step at a time. My every step of the staircase for me is made of its own staircase. So if others were taking little steps, I am taking mini steps for me to move forward, but not to be too overwhelmed. And that means that I have small successes, but I also have a tendency to diminish them, because when I finally get to do something I've been wishing for so long, I'm like, yeah, but I was supposed to just be able to do that, and I still can't do this and that. And I think my mind is sometimes my biggest obstacle, but it's also one of my greatest resources, because I reflect a lot and I look at patterns, and I'm good at following through, and that has helped me a lot. But it's also difficult to sometimes maintain a flow because I don't know which body I'm waking up to. Sometimes I feel energetic when I wake up. That's new and that's lovely, but it's like it's gone when I get out of bed, but it's a step forward. I have a lot of days where I get up, eat breakfast, and then I go back to my bed or lay on a yoga mat and meditate. Sometimes I meditate, sometimes I sleep. It all depends on the day. And in the last couple of months, I have started, I would say shopping, but it isn't shopping. It's just, well, shopping for like everyday stuff like food. That is something I've started being able to do for myself, by myself. But then it has been like every other week. And then I don't do anything else that day. And I think when people see me, they don't see that there's anything wrong, which can be nice because I'm not judged by a disorder, but it's also hard because a lot of people don't understand. It's like, yeah, like emptying a dishwasher. Why don't you just do it? Because I can't. And some days I can. And for so long I've just been doing things to survive, and this year I have really worked a lot of, I'm sorry, this is bothering me. This year I have spent a lot of time on things that makes me happy, makes me feel like I'm actually living. But that also means if I was to get the energy for that, there are other things that I can't do. So it's a lot of prioritizing my energy, and painting helps a lot. Painting and drawing makes me happy. And some days I can paint for 10 minutes, some days I can paint for an hour. And well, creative projects give me some life. Making this YouTube profile, making videos, has also helped me a lot. It makes me feel like I'm actually contributing and that I can help, that I can be there for others even though I'm not physically there. And I feel like when I say I'm down, that sometimes, well, I don't always feel like I'm allowed to say it because I'm feeling a lot better than I have been. But I also know that I'm far from the norm, far from what I see my friends doing, seeing them getting their degrees and getting out into the world, working and doing things they're passionate about. I feel like missing out a lot of the time, but I also know that these 5 years has given me really much introspection, and I have healed so many things. I feel like it's more of a healing journey than a journey of illness. And when I look at it that way, then it's just because there is more to be healed, and that that gives me hope in a way. It also gets me frustrated other days, but I know that even though I can do a lot less than others at the moment, I can feel good about myself and the person that I am, that I can be in the stillness just with me and be okay. I can enjoy life by myself because I, in a way, I would say that I've had to, and now I feel more like I get to. But my perspective is it's going up and down just as much as my energy levels, and that's also kind of tough, feeling like now it's better and I'm ready to get out and meet some people, maybe start training a little bit or doing some yoga or just doing something. And then I get the energy to do it, and then maybe it's for an hour or maybe it's for a day or two, and then I feel like I'm going back, or sometimes it's getting even worse. I've had periods where I couldn't answer questions because my mind just went blank. It's like my cognitive abilities just went out the window, and normally I'm good at arguing my course. my yeah, I'm good at least articulating my thoughts, my visions, and then all of a sudden just not having the energy for a 5-minute conversations. That's tough. And there's, when I'm talking about this, I can see that I've actually moved a long way through the last 5 years. But it's mostly on the inside, and we live in a world that is measured in what we do on the outside, and sometimes it can be hard to stand by yourself and know that it's okay, that you're doing enough. Just because of what you're doing and who you are is enough, that you don't have to do anything to be good enough. And yeah, I've been scared of my passions. I think that's also why I didn't paint for a long time, because when I get passionate about something, I lose track of time, I lose myself in it. It's just a place of flow. And for a long time, I couldn't control that, so I did too much, and then I got even worse. I've gotten a lot better at feeling when it's time to stop. But that's also kind of the tricky part about this, because sometimes I have to stop when I'm tired, but because I'm tired for much of the day, I also need to sometimes just bring the tired, the exhaustion along for the journey. Bringing the anxiety with me, or the sadness, being okay with what is, and knowing that even though I'm tired, it's okay to do something. And yeah, that balance can be tricky, but I'm learning and getting better. And I have recently started, well, last week I started as an intern at a yoga and meditation center, and it's for 2 hours a week, and I don't need to be there for the whole 2 hours because yeah, I won't be able to every time, but it's somewhere where I can get some projects, but I can also just relax and take the time I need, and it's wonderful. It's great news, and at the same time it's terrifying because and when I do stuff like that, I have something to lose, and it's really tough. Um, also being there, my first day was me being so excited and at the same time so sad because I have a lot of ideas, but I I can't follow through, at least not in the pace that I would like to. But I know that if I take it easy, if I take little steps, then it'll be okay, and I might be able to be there for a longer time. But that also means that, well, I was there yesterday, and I came home and slept for 3.5 hours afterwards, and well, that was basically my day. um, but it was great because sometimes I sleep for 3.5 hours without having done anything. But yeah, it means that I get to do that, but then it takes a day or two afterwards that I can't do anything, and in a life of trying to actually live and not just survive, trying to reach out to friends and maybe see my family, I have to prioritize, I have to plan a lot, and I also have to let go of control. That is my biggest to do. And yeah, I don't really know what to say because I think I am simplifying it a lot, and I have been talking about it to so many people that I think that maybe I am leaving out essential parts because I'm like, you know that, but I probably haven't talked about half of it. But yeah, sometimes my body feels like, well, I don't know if others experience that as well, but when I have a fever, my body is like heavy, and it's hard to do stuff, hard to concentrate, and I have that a lot of days without having a fever. Getting to the kitchen, needing to sit down to make my breakfast because it's too tough to stand up. And other days I can go for a walk or feel like I can do anything as long as I don't do it. But I also have a body that is strong. And I can lift weights that others probably can't. And that's something I miss doing a lot. I've been doing CrossFit before, and that's something I also love to do. It's just I think when I was younger I really didn't like to exercise unless it was some kind of game. And I feel like CrossFit is just one big game. It's playing and having fun while you do really exhausting things, but that isn't really where I'm at. So I meditate and I go for walks. I also really like going for walks. I've been doing that since I was a child as well. My parents live near the forest, and that gives me a lot of peace. I like to draw and paint, and I'm hoping that my small steps are gonna lead to bigger ones. Hopefully not too far away, because I am feeling that my patience is really being tested with all of these ups and downs. I feel like lately, or maybe in the last year, this year has been a lot of I want to compare it to a butterfly in a cocoon. That I've been in a cocoon and then I've gotten my wings, gotten out, I can fly, and then it lasts for a day or two, or sometimes for a couple of hours, and then I'm back in a cocoon. And then I'm there and being patient and needing to sleep, needing to rest, not doing a lot of stuff, and then I get my wings again and it's like better than before. So I'm a new butterfly, but it's like I just get to spread my wings and then it's back. I spread my wings and back. And spread my wings and back. And it's not like this, because it's spread my wings and back and then being here for a lot longer than I'd like, and I'm hoping that soon it might be like this before I get back. A little bit longer. And maybe that the time in the cocoon isn't as long. Yeah. I'm doing the best I can to stay positive and also try to share the difficult parts of the journey, because I know others are going through difficult times as well. And I think I'm just here to say that you're not alone, and it's gonna be alright.